Congress to amend this bill.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed the $900 billion pandemic aid bill on Sunday alongside a spending package, a sudden reversal after he bashed the bill and called it a disgrace. It restores unemployment benefits for millions of Americans who lost their jobs amid the pandemic and stops a partial government shutdown. Early Sunday evening, the Republican president tweeted a cryptic message: "Good news on COVID relief bill, information to follow." It's not immediately clear why Trump changed his mind. Last week, he demanded that Congress increase direct aid payments to Americans from $600 to $2,000 and slash other spending included in the bill. Democrats were poised to increase the stimulus checks to Trump's proposed amount, but many Republicans refused to back the idea. Hours before the news broke, Pennsylvania Republican Senator Pat Toomey told Fox News that Trump wants to be remembered for advocating for big checks, but the danger is he'll be remembered for chaos and misery and erratic behavior. A source familiar with the situation told Reuters that his advisors urged him to sign the bill because there was no point in refusing. Even though Trump has agreed to sign the bill, he tried to put the best face on his reversal, saying he was signing it with a strong message that makes clear to Congress that wasteful items need to be removed. Trump also noted the U.S. House planned to vote on Monday to increase the relief check amount, but it would still need to pass through the Republican-controlled Senate. Senate Majority Leader and fellow Republican Mitch McConnell thanked the president for signing the bill in a statement, but made no mention of any plans for a Senate vote.
Herd immunity against COVID-19 could require vaccination rates approaching as high as 90%, according to top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci, who on Thursday admitted that he had increased his earlier estimates. Fauci's revised figure came in a New York Times interview on Thursday, his 80th birthday. Meanwhile, the country continues to mark grim new milestones, with more than 3,000 coronavirus deaths reported for the second consecutive day. According to Reuters data, the nationwide death toll was over 326,000 by midnight on Wednesday, the same day that saw more Americans fly than on any other day since the pandemic emerged in March. Over 1.1 million passengers passed through airport checkpoints 2 days before Christmas, according to the U.S. Transportation Security Administration. Wednesday's airport traffic exceeded the prior high set during the pandemic on November 29th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, meaning many Americans disregarded the advice of public health experts who warned against holiday gatherings. Top health officials believe that those who traveled and gathered indoors for Thanksgiving contributed to the latest explosion in cases. Most Americans have been told it could be 6 months or more before they are eligible for coronavirus vaccines.
We've come to the conclusion that an individual named Anthony Warner is the bomber.
U.S. Attorney Donald Cochran on Sunday identified the man responsible for the Nashville motorhome explosion on Christmas Day as 63-year-old Anthony Warner, whose home in nearby Antioch, Tennessee, had been searched by FBI agents over the weekend and who died in the blast.
That he was present when the bomb went off and that he perished in the bombing.
The FBI said DNA taken from his home matched samples recovered at the site of the blast. The explosion in the heart of America's country music capital injured 3 people and damaged more than 40 businesses, including an AT&T switching center, disrupting mobile, internet, and TV services across central Tennessee and parts of 4 other states. The owner of a real estate agency where Warner had worked had told the Tennessean newspaper that Warner had come into the office roughly once a month for 4 or 5 years to provide computer consulting services until this month, when Warner said in an email that he would no longer be working for them. 5 Nashville police officers who were on the scene early Friday recalled the dramatic moments ahead of the explosion as they scrambled to evacuate nearby homes and buildings.
I just see orange, and then I hear a loud boom, and as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling, I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
I'll never forget the windows shattering after the blast all around me. It kind of looked like a big prop from a movie scene, all the glass breaking at once.
Prior to the blast, Music described by one officer as the 1960s song Downtown by Petula Clark blared from the RV, along with an automated announcement warning about the impending explosion. The FBI said it's too early in the investigation to talk about the suspect's motive.
A Chinese citizen journalist who covered the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan has been jailed for 4 years. 37-year-old Cheng Chan was found guilty on Monday of picking quarrels and provoking trouble, her lawyer said. Cheng's first-hand accounts of crowded hospitals, empty streets and interviews with residents painted a more dire picture of the situation in Wuhan than the official narrative. But her channel on YouTube also got her in the crosshairs of Chinese authorities. She was detained in mid-May and went on hunger strike in June, court documents reveal. Her lawyers told the court police strapped her arms down and force-fed her through a tube. By December, she was suffering headaches, giddiness, stomachache, low blood pressure and a throat infection. Requests for bail before Monday's trial were denied. There was tight security outside the court in Shanghai, but one man turned up to show her support before he was escorted away.
I came here to try and see her. I went there just now, but the staff told me it's not allowed, especially not in a criminal case.
Cheng is one of several citizen journalists who have run into trouble for reporting on Wuhan. China has come under fire for its early handling of the pandemic, with Beijing accused of failing to warn the world about how bad the situation was. Since the first cases of COVID were detected in Wuhan last December, the disease has spread worldwide, infecting more than 80 million people and killing over 1.7 million.
South Africa's health ministry confirmed it had reached more than 1 million cases of coronavirus infections on Sunday. It came just days after the country, the worst hit in Africa, reported a new, faster-spreading variant of the virus. Several hospitals have reported wards overflowing with patients, while many health workers have cancelled vacations to tackle a huge influx of patients. The new variant is referred to as 501v2. Scientists tracking it say it appears to be focused in the south and southeast of the country. They also said it had dominated findings from samples collected since October. Local media reported authorities met on Sunday to decide if a tighter lockdown or stricter rules on public movement was needed. A point of concern is that it took just 9 days for South Africa to go from 900,000 reported cases up to 1 million. As of Sunday, 26,735 people had been reported to have died from the virus.
A Saudi court has sentenced a prominent women's rights activist, Lujan al-Hathlul, to 5 years and 8 months in prison. That's according to local media that said Hathlul was charged with seeking to change the Saudi political system and harming national security. The trial has drawn international condemnation and poses an early challenge to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's relationship with US President-elect Joe Biden. Biden has criticised Riyadh's human rights record. Hathlul has been held since 2018, following her arrest along with at least a dozen other women's rights activists. The court reportedly suspended 2 years and 10 months of her sentence, which means she could be released around the end of February 2021. UN rights experts have called the charges spurious, along with leading rights groups and lawmakers in the US and Europe that have been calling for her release. Hathlul had championed women's right to drive and called for an ending of the kingdom's male guardianship system. Rights groups and her family say she's been tortured in prison, a charge denied by the Saudi authorities. Hundreds of Britons spending the holidays in the Swiss ski resort of Verbier fled the village to avoid quarantine rules. They were put in place by Switzerland's government after the discovery of a new strain of the coronavirus in the UK. Around 200 British tourists reportedly fled the ski town this week, breaking a 10-day quarantine rule put in place by the government 2 weeks ago for all visitors from the United Kingdom. The Swiss government ordered people who have entered the country from the UK and South Africa since December 14th to undergo a 10-day quarantine. They also imposed a general entry ban for foreign nationals from the countries. Switzerland joined several countries in suspending travel for Britons after Prime Minister Boris Johnson warned the mutated variant was up to 70% more transmissible. Verbier is especially popular to British tourists. They make up 20% of all of its visitors in a typical winter season.